but then they always make themselves appear. I have my tea, so I am ready to get into whatever we're talking about today. I had my vaccine shot. I got Moderna. So far, last night I had some chills, and my arm is in pain. I won't lie. The pharmacist did tell me to take Tylenol, so I've done that, and it's kind of made the symptoms a little better. So yeah, so I have my vaccine. I'm so happy I got it. Trying to change the world one step at a time. So today we're talking about a book that is ever evolving but near and dear to my heart. I didn't even need to recap. I know. So the book is called Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. She's written multiple ones, but this one I liked because I think it was I believe I watched the movie first and then read the book because I did like the couple. So I just googled some discussion questions and here we go. So the first one was, the plot is there are three main characters, Darcy, Dex, and Rachel. Rachel and Darcy have been best friends since they could remember. And Rachel introduced Dex to Darcy when they were in law school together. But at the time, Darcy didn't know that Rachel liked Dex. So, of course, so many things happen. And spoiler alert, Rachel and Dex cheat together and they end up together. So hopefully you've read the book. So the first question is, how do you view Dex? How would you describe Dex and Rachel's relationship? What drew them together? Do you root for them to be together? Do you think they have true love? Number one, how do I view Dex? I view Dex as a confused human being. But I will say that as I've gotten older, I view him different because I'm also human and I've also made mistakes and I've also been stuck in things that I didn't want to be in, just because you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. So I think I resonate more with him as I've gotten older and I've seen things. It doesn't necessarily have happened to me. It doesn't necessarily mean they've happened to me, but I've seen things. How would you describe Dex and Rachel's relationship? I think Dex and Rachel have a good friendship. It's interesting. I saw a quote, and I'm paraphrasing, that although opposites attract, the people who are like-minded stay longer. So I don't know if that's true, but I do think that for Dex, maybe Darcy was this new beautiful thing that was opposite him. And you do read several times in the books where Darcy's like, if people who are like-minded are meant to be together, Dex and Rachel should be together. She said that, not me. What drew them together? Common things. They were in law school together. I think Rachel's very smart, but I think she has imposter syndrome. I think that's just where that is. Do you root for them to be together? I've always rooted for Dex and Rachel. I think I see myself as Rachel in so many things, having imposter syndrome and not being happy in your career, going on social media and seeing everyone else is living their best life. So I think for a long time, I think I believed myself to be a Rachel. So I rooted for them because I believe that Rachel loved Dex first. And I always say that I feel like Darcy dropped the ball, because if a girl is talking about a guy all the time and you as a friend miss that, that's on you. But Rachel definitely should have communicated. I'm not taking away that from the scenario. Do you think they have true love? I do think they have true love. I do. Okay, next question. Um, is anything about Rachel and Darcy's friendship genuine? Do you believe it has changed over time? Why does Rachel defend Darcy against Ethan and Hillary? Okay, so I do think that Rachel and Darcy's friendship is genuine. I do think they want the best for each other, but I do think that they've fallen into a trap that most people are in, where you've been friends with someone for so long, but things aren't meshing as much as they used to. And I've fallen in this trap too, so I'm kind of familiar with it, where it's like that's all you've known, right? But then I'm now at a point in life where I'm like, just because you've been in my life for a long time does not mean that you'll be in my life forever. The days are long. I think something that I've realized is, like, as I've entered a new age bracket, is that the days are long. So there's so many things that I now I'm more calm about, because I'm like, the days are long. Anything can happen. In that same breath, same realm, is that as the days are long, chase after your dreams, because the days are long. Okay, so do you believe it has changed over time? I definitely think it has changed over time. I know they went to undergrad together, but they didn't go to law school together. I do think that your undergrad friends and your master's friends and your work friends are all different, but they all shape you. And I do think that that's important to note with that. Why does Rachel defend Darcy against attacks from Ethan and Hillary? I think that's a good question. All the time Rachel would defend Darcy. So I do think that as the book progresses, we do see that Rachel now kind of stands up for herself, and she's more firm with her boundaries, which I don't think a lot of people are. I wasn't for a long time. Now I am. That being said, I do think that she defends Darcy because they've been friends for such a long time. Why wouldn't you defend Darcy? And I think she sees her for who she is, and she's known her for such a long time. So she has a soft spot for her. And it's good that she doesn't talk about it. She defends Darcy. Then it means that she can be saved, right? Okay. The next question is, do you think Dex and Darcy would have married if it weren't for Dex's affair with Rachel? Why did he stay with Darcy for so long? I think they would have gotten married 100%, because they're already in a long-term relationship. They'd already introduced each other to each other's families. So I do think, and they already proposed. I think he stayed with Darcy for so long because I don't think Darcy is necessarily a bad person. I do see glimpses of her being a good person. So I think, why wouldn't he? I think he would have stayed with her, but I think he would have settled. Because I think that Dex is like a stand-up guy. He's always trying to do the right thing. So I think he would have done right by Darcy. Definitely. And they would have lived a mediocre life, I think, compared to like what we see with Rachel and Dex, the dynamic. Interesting that I said this earlier on, and there's a question. I haven't read these questions before. This is off the top of my head. How did Rachel's flawed self-image contribute to the dilemma that she faces? What do you see as her greatest weakness? I definitely think Rachel really suffered from imposter syndrome. I definitely think that she thought that she wasn't a great person. And what I think is sad is that she she viewed herself as beautiful because now Dex viewed her as beautiful. I didn't like that. Because I think the danger in that is that do we feel found when we found the one? Um I thought that was so interesting. It goes back to gender because I think that men are taught to be this self-assured human beings. Like a man can apply for. There's a man that applied for a job that he wasn't qualified for, and he got it. You know, and no matter what he did to the nation, he still got it. That being said, I do think that men have a different like view on things that they can't do. I think they're always of a state of mind that they will do whatever when the time comes. So which I think is interesting that girls suffer more from. I think girls suffer more from self-image. And it clearly evident with Rachel because she really struggled. She didn't think she was beautiful, and that's why all this led to where it did. If she was more confident, I think we didn't even need to have the story. I think Darcy wouldn't have been in the picture. But she introduced Dex to Darcy because she's like, oh, that's more his type. I'm not so pretty. And I think that's a bad thing that happens. Let's see. I'll do 2 more random questions. Under what circumstances is it justified to choose love over friendship? How important is it for women to stick together? Have you ever been in a friendship like Darcy and Rachel? So I'll go back to a situation where I initially said the days are long. I do think that I don't know if there's ever a circumstance to choose love over friendship. I think that if I have to do that, it means that some party's at fault. Evident in this novel, Rachel's at fault, if I'm keeping it real. How important is it for women to stick together? I think it is important for women to stick together if that's how people are raised to do it. But I'm sticking together in terms of like hiding your spirit or hiding your shine. I don't agree with it. And I do think in this instance, it's the sticking together is to hide or fit one person's narrative. I don't agree with that. I think when we now talk about having when we talk about instances where women should stick together, I always question why, you know. Have you ever been in a friendship like Darcy and Rachel? I have not. Maybe in high school, but as I've gotten older, no. My boundaries are more clear. They're real. A no is a no. This novel is told from Rachel's perspective. How do you think Darcy would tell the same story? How do you think she would describe Rachel? How do you think she views their friendship? So there is another book called Something Blue by Emily, where we do get Darcy's perspective on this. So I'm gonna try not to think about that, not having read that book. I think Darcy would, of course, tell a different story because she was engaged to what she believed was the love of her life. So definitely, it's very important to be careful whose narrative you take when there's a breakup, because I think that each party views themselves wronged, right? So they will tell a story in a different way. So if someone if someone says to me, oh, their ex is a horrible person, I'm very wary of just taking that narrative, because I have to realize that when your heart is involved in situations, you become muddled. And no one's going to tell a story putting themselves in a negative light. Not Quavo, not Sweetie, if we're following mainstream news. How do you think she would describe Rachel? I think she would describe Rachel initially as very loyal, very timid. But of course, it changes now because Rachel did steal her fiance. So yeah, so those are the questions that I randomly selected. Like I said, I'm looking for new things to do or new topics to talk about. So definitely, if you have any questions about anything, like I said, hit me up in the comments, DM me. My Instagram is Queen of Brunch. Yeah. But other than that, I'm excited. Today is the 1st of April. It is my birthday month, and I have so many activities planned with some of my girlfriends. So I'm really excited for the month. I'm excited for new beginnings, and I hope you are too. But for now, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I might post a salad or something. I usually try and do wind down Fridays. That's just a thing I look forward to. So let's see if I do it. If I do, I will post a video or a vlogging video. We'll see. Anyway, enjoy your day.